Will I continue? Yeah or no? Hit play, let's go, let's go. One episode, feel the flow. Hold me fast or I let it go. Will I continue?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another Will I Continue. Have a special guest today. It is Jack from Feature Anime Podcast, or is it FAP? What's up, man?
Whoa.
You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me on. Very much appreciated for inviting me back again. So, very much appreciated, man. And yeah, featured anime podcast for anyone who doesn't know. Obviously, the name implies exactly what we talk about on our podcast is anime, like what we do here at Will I Continue.
Of course. Yeah, you guys go check them out. It's always fun hearing you and Rick going back and forth and giving Rick a hard time. That's I feel bad for Rick sometimes, man. I don't know if he does it to himself or what.
He gets caught up sometimes. Sometimes he can't help himself. He gets caught up, and it's understandable. He thinks at things from a more realistically logical perspective in his mind.
Yeah. I'm always in the background rooting for, come on, Rick, come on, make that point. Come on, man. Do it. Put him in the place. But, I love Rick. I love, he's last time we had on him, our conversations I've had with him, he's such a nice guy. I wish he could have came, but, I know everybody's busy all the time. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
But yeah, so today's episode, we will be discussing Liar's Game. I had to think about it as I'm talking. Oh, I'm tired. But yeah, so Liar's Game. And what I'll do as I always do, go through the first paragraph of the Wikipedia, and then we'll dive right into the episode. So the Wikipedia says, Liar Game is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Shinobu Kaitani. It was serialized in Shueisha's seinen manga magazine weekly Young Jump from February 2005 to January 2015. It was adapted into a Japanese television series in 2007 with the second season, which ran from 2009 to 2010. It was also adapted into 2 live action films. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Liar Game. The final stage in 2010 and Liar Game Reborn in 2012. A South Korean television series adaptation aired in 2014. So this is around for a bit. Okay. An anime television series adaptation produced by Madhouse premiered in 2026, which of course the first episode we watched was this year. So episode 1 of Liar Game was titled The Legendary Con Artists. Man, okay. So it basically, Liar's Game follows Nao Kanzaki, who is a extremely brutally honest girl, which she gets caught up in the Liar Game. And for those who want to know about it, the Liar Game is a psychological competition where players are given large sums of money and must trick, manipulate, or outsmart their opponent to take it. There are no rules against lying or betrayal, and losing means being stuck with a massive debt. At its core, it's a battle of trust versus strategy, where being too honest can cost you everything. Alright, man, so I have to get your take. What did you think of this, man?
Honestly, disappointment. That's what I got from this. I got disappointment from this. Like the very second that walks in, the first opening scene you have is of Kanzaki, and she's at the police station dropping off 100 yen piece. And it's like, all right, well, she's going to be the main protagonist. Obviously, a Liar Game, you're going to have someone that's not great at lying or is super gullible.
Yeah.
And shocker, that's exactly what it was. And And even in knowing the instructions, seeing the name of the game, knowing everything having to do with it, like just flat out, even consulting a lawyer is like, hey, you're gonna I wouldn't trust anyone in all honesty. So, just
Mm-hmm.
kind of talk to a con artist at that point.
Yeah.
Disappointment.
It was very lackluster, the whole episode, for me at least. I could see what it was trying to accomplish, and I don't know if it was trying to get in tune with Squid Games in a sense, right? And
Yeah.
that's what kind of kept on hitting my head was Squid Games. It was complete opposite games, right? Complete, but where they kind of set up with the card and then the invitation. It's just I don't know. My brain just kept on going to Squid Games, but completely different type of style game, and it was at least that was interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And she was too sweet and innocent and act like, oh, everybody's good. It's like, what? She was so, like you said, naive.
So naive.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I really disliked that about that is
Mm-hmm.
you're in a game, the instructions are very plainly obvious.
Right.
Even if you trust someone to be that naive just to try and lay the foundation down beyond that is ridiculous. And then even continuing to believe blindly someone, you can be, and here's the thing, they portray her not only as honest but gullible. Just because you're honest doesn't mean everyone else is honest like you. And being 18, even at that point, that doesn't mean you're gonna be that entirely, believing everyone all the time, because 18 years, she had to have at least, run into someone at least once a year where they were just not honest. And then on top of that, when you have, after you lay down the foundation of, oh, I'm this really honest and good person and there's absolutely nothing wrong and blah 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 blah, goes to her dad, goes to her father, and lies to him.
I know.
Like,
And she's so honest, but she lies to her own father, who's terminally ill.
terminally ill, and would probably give her realistically sound advice.
Right.
Like, say, hey, you know what? You're in this game. Even if the person you get paired up with, you know him, don't trust him, don't give him the money, nothing. Just straight up, just leave it.
I mean,
Put it in a
almost,
safety deposit box, like the other guy did.
yeah, yeah. That's so weird. Her school teacher is a lousy. Sorry, I was gonna say something else. I shouldn't have. But yeah, it was a very scoundrel. Very, I don't know. He
Dirtbag.
made me so pissed off. Right, but yeah, but every character in this, even the lawyer, was an a-hole. Like, only person that was decent was her father, and the con, who she later, I think, did she hire him? I think, I forget. It was a weird dynamic
At the end of
between
the
those two.
episode,
Yeah.
yeah. At the end of the episode, he initially, so at the start of it, when you get introduced to the con, which was the piece of advice that she got from the lawyer,
Yeah, that's right.
is he runs into her, or rather she runs into him,
Mhm.
and she wants him to help her get the money back and just be a wash. Neither one of them win, neither one of them lose, just be a complete wash, which the
Mhm.
teacher wasn't all for.
Yeah.
But he goes, look, I'm not going back to jail, and I don't want to go back to jail. And she's like, look, this is the game, supposedly, blah blah blah. And then when they go see the teacher with the con, the teacher confirms, like, hey, this is a game. It doesn't matter. Everything having to do with this money is 100% legal. You're SOL on your own, which gave the con, like, hey, I now get to be a con and not have to worry about repercussions for my con. This is great. This is
Yeah.
wonderful.
Even that for me was still lackluster. The whole premise of that, oh, he was trying to push him to for he can have an excuse like that, right? And it was
Oh
just
yeah.
so I don't know. I don't understand. Like it was even. I almost. I mean, I don't know. I didn't almost fall asleep watching this because it was late at night when I watched it. But the whole, it just I don't know. It didn't. The build up that they tried with him, which was Akiyama, the con artist, with the teacher when he decided he was going to help Kanzaki. It was so no build up at all. They were trying to do the build up. They're trying to push him, trying to challenge him. And to me, that was just I was like yawning when they're doing this. It was the whole thing was just I don't know. It tried to build that build up. It tried to get you interested. Oh, there's a liar's game. She got the card. Oh, what is she gonna do? They have to, you have 100 million each, and then you got to steal the other person's 100 million. But how do you do it? By deceiving. I'm like, I don't know. It just maybe it gets better. Maybe it does something that comes out of nowhere because it was running for a little bit. I guess it did something in the past. The show. I don't know. It's just I couldn't get. I'm probably telling my what I'm gonna rate this in the future, but it's like I couldn't get into it. It was rough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you 100% on that. It was rough to really get into it, and the want and desire to continue to watch it really isn't there. It now obviously just if you go off of gut instincts and gut reaction for a first episode, that's usually pretty good solid baseline for a lot of the shows that are out there. And for me personally, when it comes to this show, when it comes to this particular show for this one, I didn't like the character off the bat. I don't care for them. They went really, really hard to try and force you to hate the teacher, like from 0 to 100. And it's like, come on, guy, come on. Like, really?
I mean, his whole
And then
backstory was. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I did.
No, it's I agree. It's like they not only did they just make it so that way he's like able to pay off his debt, right? Where you have someone that's I hit hard times because of whatever. I'm finally now able to pay off my debt. But then he goes on further to say I was able to trick and con the money out of a idiot, a fool, a student, former student of mine who I care absolutely nothing about. And then when she goes back and says, "Hey, I just want my money back. It'll be a complete wash. Won't be any more in debt. I won't be in any more debt or anything like that." He just lets it out as like, "I don't care about you. I only care about myself." And blah. I lost my wife. I lost my kids. And blah 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 blah. It's like I'm pretty sure they didn't leave you because you didn't have money. They left you because you were a POS. You were a horrible individual. You were a horrible human being.
Well, I mean, didn't he help her when her mom passed or something like that? Didn't he actually help her when she was a child at a time? I guess maybe I could miss.
He had said something when her dad was first getting ill.
That's right.
He helped out a little bit, but not financially. He just helped, like, I would assume, take her home, bring her back to school or whatever it is, just a little bit. But to kind of paint it all as whatever. And the other thing is too is he got his just desserts. He goes on to later on, I always scheduled with this agency because I always got a kickback. So basically, you were getting bribed to use them. They said, no, we're not going to bribe you anymore. You should just use us. And then he threatened them, and not just like, well, I'm not going to use you guys anymore. He probably laid on there, I'm not going to use you guys anymore unless you pay me to use you guys. I'm going to use someone else. And so, because they probably had new management, they're like, hey, I'm not going to play this game. Called his boss and said, hey, he wants us to pay him to use us. And it's like, I'm not going to, they ain't all about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I don't know, still a far-fetched story just to try to keep somebody into the show. I feel like try to build up his his character and his background. The only thing that could keep me going further would be the father, maybe. If she wins and she keeps playing, she could potentially, and of course, the Karnars, Akiyama, they could win some massive amount of money if they keep playing. Now, what could happen with her father, or maybe it could be a love interest between, which is kind of the trope sometimes. The two opposite pairs fall in love or start having feelings, where the case may be, or if they win on, she wins enough money, will she be able to help fund a cure or whatever the case may be for her father, right? I don't know. Even then, that just barely has me kind of, maybe I might, I might watch it just to see what happens. But I don't know. It's just the whole premise. Her father was, to me, the coolest character. I hate to say that, but he was the coolest character. And also Akiyama. They kind of, I like his personality. He's kind of that rude jerk. Well, I even like that character, to be honest. I can't think about it. But I mean, he's got the character of, oh, you hate me, but you like me because of my attitude, right? He kind of tried to, the opposite of Kanzaki, which is a good, opposite pair and helps a good contrast for character development. But I don't know. That was, for even me, that was still like barely hanging on. Did you,
Yeah.
So what do you think of Akiyama?
I mean, they certainly did their due diligence, or their justice, rather, not justice, their due diligence in trying to make him seem like the ethical, positive con man. And the reason why I say that is because the reason why he went to jail is because he conned a corrupt company out of money. And that's the only reason why he went to jail. Because even when he was getting out of jail, even when he got out of jail, the cops helped him get out of jail without the press.
Yeah.
and let him dress up as an officer of the law to get out. And basically, when they were there, all they did was just layer on top of layer on top of layer on top of layer on top of layer, all the excuses to make it so that way he doesn't feel bad about the con. It gives him that moral high ground to be like, oh, I'm going to con this person. And the pay is going to be half the takings. So if we con him out, because here's the one thing that we didn't specify is both people know exactly who you are. So you get a picture of who that person is for the con. So that's why the teacher and Anna now both know each other. Right? That's how they both knew who the other individual was, because they are literally sent a picture, and they also just happen to know each other in real life. They are also given a case, each of them given a case of 100 million yen to hold on for 30 days. So you have 30 days to try and con the other person out of as much money as possible out of that 100 million yen that they got. They also, for the liar game tournament, is whoever comes back will go and be checking all the serial numbers for the 100 million yen that each person got, and any of the original 100 million yen that is not there will be owed to the game tournament. So
Mhm.
you don't get to keep the 100 million that you're given. You have to give your 100 million back. But if you con the other person out of the 100 million, you get to keep that 100 million. And the game tournament goes to that individual who lost some or all of that 100 million. And they are the ones that are in debt for that amount of money.
Mhm. True. Yeah.
So
That's
that's a pretty important specification there, because it's how do you know who that person is? You're given the details, you're told what you have to do. You're also told explicitly anything theft wise or otherwise having to do with the game money is legal. It is not considered theft. It's not against the law. It
Mhm.
is considered game money. So you're free and clear in anything having to do with that. I'm assuming within reason, having
Yeah.
to do with that money. So if you go and you hold the guy at gunpoint and you rob that $100 million, well, you didn't steal $100 million from the guy. You just pulled a gun on the guy, and that's all you're going to get slapped for, I would assume.
Yeah, right. That gives a free reign almost with everything.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So, the rating. I want to what you would give this first episode a rating of from 1 to 5.
Um, I would
It's
give it a
hard.
2.
A 2.
I'd give it a 2.
Okay.
I'd give it a 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
You're probably a little more generous. What I'd actually just giving it a 1. I didn't care. I lost. I got bored. I'm like, even it being late at night, I still love watching, anime.
Mhm.
So it's like this one, I just had a hard time. It was, it tried, it tried to keep people in, but for me, it just didn't have it. So with this, then would you would you continue even with your low ranking of a 2?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, it's not one that I am most assuredly am gonna watch week to week if I end up watching it again at all. If it's
Mhm.
something I end up watching again, it'll probably be because someone said Liar's Game is really great. You just got to get past the first 4 episodes, which does not bode well if you're
Mhm.
telling me I have to skip the first quarter
Mhm.
or third of the series just to enjoy it. That does not bode well. But
Mhm.
I mean, it kind of is what it is. Uh, it's also not going to be one where I actively avoid. If I literally have nothing else to watch, I will, and it's like I the completionist in me will want to complete it. I'll probably do that, but that's I got to get through other ones first before I actually, you know, get to that point.
Yeah, I get it. Even with for me, the father was and maybe Akiyama. Um, I still I wouldn't continue. I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm done with it. Maybe you and Rick can tell me one day if you guys ever watch on your show. I would love to hear Rick's take on the first episode. um,
Mhm.
because I don't know. He may like it. There's some things he surprises me on. Um, but I just for me, yeah, it's uh no, it's a no. I'm not. Even if someone told me, "Oh, it gets better," nah, I had my deal with it because I'm a guy who has a family. I have so much little time in the day that I can sit down and watch back, kick back, binge on something. And this, if it doesn't catch me in the very first episode, granted, I know 3 episodes, generally depending on the anime, it gets better. But even this for me, I wanted to turn off halfway through the episode and look for something else. To be honest, um, maybe it does. their reason why it did so well, maybe in I think it was South Korea. Because of course, here versus Japan and Korea, they're into different types of anime, different types of shows. Like here, what's popular is not popular over there, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Culture difference. But with this, even I'm good. I'm not. No, I'm good. Y'all have fun with it. If you guys enjoy it, listeners, have a ball with it. I'm out.
Yeah. No, I got you right there too. I understand that completely. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are certainly shows that are out there that like to have poke fun and everything like that, especially bringing up the 3 episode deal.
Mhm.
Um, Reminds me of anime Gateris, because that was basically a love letter to anime fans. They break the fourth wall. They talk. They even spend an episode talking in the 3rd episode talking about how there's people out there that only give it shows 3 episodes and they're probably losing people over the show itself.
Oh man,
Um,
I gotta watch that. You have to mention that. I gotta watch that just for the hell of it.
right. It is basically a love letter to anime fans because they talk about anime, the creators, and everything else in it all the way through. Um, I would rather, and I remember not liking that one too
Mhm.
much. I'd rather kind of watch that one just for the pure ridiculousness of it again
Mhm.
over watching this first episode again.
Gotcha.
I will tell you this though, it has potential. It does. It really, genuinely, it does have the potential to be a great show. I just think they fumbled it on the first episode.
Yeah, I agree. It, it every time the way they delivered this, I don't know why. I keep on thinking of Squid Games. I don't know why, but I don't know. It. Yeah, they fumbled it. I agree. It could have been better. Maybe the conversations could have been deeper, maybe, or I don't know. It's just the whole. It was the teacher, and that was supposed to be the big thing. The teacher, a teacher, I guess, a teacher wouldn't screw over their student, right? But it comes out he was corrupt.
I
You
mean,
know,
he got his just desserts, and
yeah.
all they did for this first episode, I feel, all they did for the first episode is really wanted to lay the groundwork over how much of a dirtbag he is.
Yeah.
I feel like episode 2 is going to be them prepping to con him out of the money. And then episode 3 will end up being the retribution or the fall or how it all lands with said teacher getting conned out of all the money.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's how it's going to play out.
Yeah. But how long are they going to ride that? Would they ride it?
So they'll write it for 3, obviously.
Yeah, 3.
And then I feel like what they'll do is they'll do another 3 episode arc where you're going to have the build up, the planning, the resolution, the build up, planning, resolution. You'll have basically 4 mini arcs.
Yeah, that's what I'm sorry. That's what I was meaning, not the teacher, but they're gonna. It's that whole wave. You're riding the wave. They're roller coaster.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. How long would they keep? I don't know. I personally don't like that.
This has, and I've seen some shows where that was basically how it was.
Mm-hmm.
Is that was the premise of it? That was
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing. Is that every 3 episodes was its own arc, and I personally, I cannot see this being anything more than that. I mean, like the only other thing that I could possibly even see would be like um the Liar's Game. Um Only thing I can think of is Akiyama basically going with to setting this whole thing up, using the money that he embezzled from the company to basically launder the money to make it clean and give him the ethical reason to be able to keep all said money while being out free, because while he was locked up for conning that company out of that money, he doesn't technically have that money anymore.
Mhm.
So I feel like this is basically a giant elaborate deal for him to basically wash the money and get the money, and then also probably end up uh screwing Kanzaki over somehow or whatever, or he probably knows her somehow or something like that. And I am basing all of this on the fact that, one, they did a lot of groundwork to lay it down that she is someone that's 100% honest, completely gullible and naive and everything like that, has a terminally ill father, really laying it on how great of a wonderful individual she is. Then doing the research on him,
Mhm.
right? And her looking for him, going, oh, he's an honest con man that's just getting out of jail or whatever. They laid out that groundwork. And then when they showed her coming up to try and catch him while he was coming out, how they showed him, how they portrayed him coming around the corner, did not make it seem like it was an accident.
Yeah.
Like it was all a part of a plan.
Mhm.
That's why I'm saying what I'm saying is purely based from those small interactions and
Yeah.
how they laid that groundwork out.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see your thought process on that. But even then, for
I just
me,
hope to God it's not that. I just hope to God it's not that, because if that's exactly what it is, that
uh, mm, uh,
just proves how predictable it is.
yeah, I
I
agree.
haven't read the manga. I know nothing about it. But you know,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Even for even that thought process and that potential hook, I'd I'd still out. I'd be still out. I'm
Mhm,
oh yeah.
mhm.
There's no way I'd. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it gets better though. Maybe it's not what you think, and maybe it's a deeper cliffhanger or backstabbing or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't.
something.
I'm out. All right.
I don't
Well,
know. Well,
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, man, yeah, I don't know. I can't foresee watching this willingly or on
Mhm.
my own anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah. If you gotta let me know if you guys ever do this in the future with your guys' show. Just let me know. I'm really curious if it gets better, and like I said, I'm always very curious what Rick would think of this. But yeah,
Yeah.
but thanks, man. You've been great. Thank you so much for coming on the show. If you want to, shout out your socials and your podcast again.
Yeah, yeah. You can check out our podcast, Featured Anime Podcast, uh, on all the podcasting platforms, Spotify, Podchaser, Apple Podcasts. We're all over the place. If you want to come check us out and what we do, we always welcome you. And then we also have a Discord, always hanging out in there talking. And then you can follow us on Twitter at Those Anime Guys.
Awesome. Go everybody, go check them out. They're awesome guys. Love them to death, and a great podcast, of course. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on the show. And this is will I continue and see you on the next one. Bye, guys.